All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it as always. All right, all right, all right. This commercial's on everything these days. Jesus, man, all over the place. All right, all right. So, alcohol prepper, JCP, Kimberly, Mr. Landfill, thank you for the 5x5. Desert, Raccoon Eyes, Flown Grown, Groundhog, SP, Maria, thank you for 5x5. Colt, Dan Phillips, Mitch, Rhonda, Jeep, Sojourner, thank you for the 5x5. Vegan, Teddy, ICP, Highlander, Nowhere, thank you for the 5x5. Ken Zoe, Water Tiger, Renee, At Peace, Involving Media, Sersha, thank you for 5x5. Sunshine, The Warden, thank you for 5x5. Martin, thank you for the 5x5. D. Jones, thank you for the 5x5. Comet Moon, Fula, Involving Media again. Dobie, thank you for the 5x5. Maria Jackson, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. All right, Maverick, thank you for the 5x5. Appreciate it, guys. All right, all right, all right. So, I guess tonight's live stream, I don't know. I'm going to continue to bring up a few things only because Reanimated, thank you for the 5x5. Somebody answer Jason Kinese? Ness. Jason K. Ness or Jason Ness, whatever it is. Someone answer him. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm going to keep bringing up the fact that what's going on with this arm ticket. I think things are getting pretty not bad, at least not yet. I think we're going to see bad down the line. I don't think we're going to see it pop up suddenly, but we are starting to see the gradual incline in people passing away. And then there are other things that are going on, and I am not sure if they're trying to have us forget it or forget certain things that happen, but we're definitely being pulled in way too many directions. If I'm not mistaken, if I should say, I think we're being pulled in way too many directions. We got too many things going on. I mean, the Epstein files, for example, that sort of just died off. We have Trump doing what he did in D.C., and there are a lot of people in D.C. that are they're appreciative, I guess, that a lot of the crime is down. Now, I think the crime is down now, like 36% or something like that from last year. Which, again, guys, deploying the National Guards could be a good thing, and because it's a federalized city, yes, he's allowed to do it. But just because he's allowed to do it doesn't mean he should. A lot of people backing politicians, they go, well, they're allowed to do it. It's in the law. It doesn't mean you should. There's a lot of things, like here in New York City, you can cross the street and cars are supposed to give you the right of way. That doesn't mean you should walk across the street blindly. Right? Still look both ways. I think the implementation of federal guards in these crime-ridden cities are a bad idea. Yes, you can ramp up police. You can ramp up hiring of police. You can do a ton of other things than getting National Guards involved. Now, again, federalized city, can he do what he wants? Yes, but he could have ramped up the D.C. Police Department. He could have went on an all-out hiring spree, for example. There's a lot of things that could have been done. Now they're going after Chicago. And Chicago residents are saying that, yes, we would like to, walk down the streets without looking over our shoulders, walk out dogs. I think what needs to happen is you need to remove the current leadership that's in D.C., in Chicago, in Detroit. You got to remove them. And you got to remove them by force. That is the only way you can make things better. Putting in the National Guards so that, let's just say they leave, then what? Things go back to the way they were? And the whole Chicago thing, that's another overreach. But people are like, well, turn up volume, AP. Dan Phillips says turn up the volume. Am I okay, or because I'm fine on this side, I think. Yeah, I'm fine on my side. So yeah, I'm not. I say fuck Chicago, and that's the thing, guys. People keep saying fuck these liberal cities, like screw these liberal cities, fuck them. I'm like, you don't get it. These are steps into before they end up in every major city and then even towns. It's a segue, and I don't understand why people don't see it that way. People are short-sighted and go, "Well, he's just doing crime-ridden cities, fine." And then let's just say he does that. He pulls the National Guards out, and then things go back to the way they were. That's exactly what's going to happen, and we all know that's going to happen. He knows that's going to happen, and the military experts know that's going to happen. So what's going to happen after that? They're going to keep them in those cities. And then what? Then you're going to have heavy-handed National Guardsmen. I undoubtedly see a problem popping off on this subject, and people just want to. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the chat. Why police force if you have martial law? Why have a police force if you have martial law? Well, Brennan, I mean that's the other thing too. Like he could easily just do the whole martial law thing on these states. Actually, the state level, if I'm not mistaken, governors have to do that. And some governors do think that a lot of the streets need to be cleaned up, and they do. But National Guards is not the answer. I'm telling you right now. And we're going to see the backlash on this down the line. It's not going to be immediate. Immediately, we're seeing crime drop. But that means then you're going to have to keep them there. Look at what happened in other foreign countries, Iraq, Afghanistan. Right, we had troops there. A lot of the shit was starting to die down. A lot of the culture was changing, and then we left, and then what happened? Right, everything went back to the way it was. If not, it got worse, and we're going to see that in these cities if he pulls them out. It's all a tactic, and people don't see it. And I'm not a smart man, but I do see down the line that this is not going to work out the way everybody thinks it is. People like, oh, he wants to do New York City. He wants to go to New York City, and then what? He's going to keep them here in New York City? It's not a good thing. That's all I'm saying. It's setting everything up for a disaster down the line. Whether that's him keeping them here or another asshole president stepping in and going, you know what? I don't like the way these people are behaving. Let's just keep the National Guards there and let's start ramping up shit. What do you think taking away freedom looks like? It looks like this. What do you think putting people in a C40 city or a 15-minute city looks like? It looks like this. This is the beginning of it. And history is going to repeat itself. Thank you for bringing that up. We're watching this happen again. Graphics 29. What do you mean? What threat? There's a ton of threats. You got to narrow it down just a little bit. Minneapolis next is a shit show. Yeah, I heard Chicago was next. And listen, though I disagree with this, if you're going to deploy National Guards, why Chicago? Why not Minneapolis? Why not Detroit? Why not Maryland, which is right next door to you? Maryland is a shit show. Maryland is by far one of the worst cities. If I'm not mistaken, I thought it was in the top 3 or 5 as far as violent cities and crime goes. Why would you skip over Maryland and go to Chicago? What is that, northwest of D.C., when you can just go a little north and you're in Maryland? Listen, like I said, this shit is not making sense. Minneapolis, the next shit show, and someone said, your mayor is nuts. And again, it's definitely not going to... and getting rid of freedom, guys, this is what it looks like. You use a situation like crime, bad crime, and you go, we're going to send in some National Guards to help. And then they're going to help, and then they're going to stay here, and then they're going to be here for the duration. It was sort of like when there were 2 planes that flew into a building, and then all of a sudden, a lot of our freedoms and privacy were taken away after 9/11, right? Whether it was engineered or not, irrelevant, we lost a lot of our freedoms. And this is what it looks like. We're going to lose a lot of our freedoms by having National Guards here. And then National Guard, if things don't quell down, if they don't like it, what are they going to do? They're going to start telling people that there's a mandatory, not quarantine, but curfew, right? They're going to tell us that there's a curfew. Then what? And now people are like, fuck the curfew. They're going to be out in the street. National Guards are going to start hammering people. If I'm not mistaken, they just armed the National Guards in D.C., right? They gave them rifles or at least loaded weapons. So, what is that going to look like? So, I don't know. I just don't see this working out in the long run. I really don't. Yeah. And that's the thing, Miss John Johnson. They're saying it's for peace and security. They said the same shit with 9/11. We got to make sure that the American public is safe. So we need to dive into everybody's private bullshit. And with that, they dived into everybody's private bullshit using 9/11 as the excuse or the segue into getting into our private lives, putting all kinds of tracking system and listening devices into every device we own, and then they sell that information to the social media companies and corporations. Now the corporations have the same kind of technology or permission and access to listen to all our shit. Otherwise, how come every time you're on your phone and you talk about a cheeseburger, the best cheeseburger spot in your local area pops up on your phone? I've seen it time and time again. We were talking about in the firehouse. We were talking about the ShamWow guy, right? Isn't that the guy that got arrested, or is he dead now? The crazy-looking white kid. And we were talking about him and like the things that happened to him. All of a sudden, we started seeing ShamWow ads on our phones. 3 guys on the rig had ShamWow apps in the social media apps. Autonomous. Anonymous, excuse me. That's exactly what I said last week. You cannot agree with National Guards in the streets and then be a constitutionalist. You can't rant and rave about the Constitution and what the Constitution means and how come politicians are disregarding, certain politicians are disregarding the Constitution, but then turn around and go, yeah, we need National Guards in the city streets. You can't have it both ways, guys. It's one or the other. And it's a solution to everything. We got to find out what the solution is, right? Or we have to build a solution, right? Just because it might not be right in front of us doesn't mean we can't sit down and think about this shit. Nasara said military is the only way. Nasara, military is the only way for what? I hate when I read. Oh, as far as the cartel goes, is that what you mean? Probably. That's not going to end well, but yeah, probably. Where is going? Yeah, Americans can't be saved without. America can't be saved without military operation. Again, then you're against the Constitution, Nasara. If you want military in the streets of the United States, that's part of the problem. That kind of thinking. You cannot, again, be on the side with the Constitution and then want National Guardsmen roaming the streets of New York, of America. It never ends well, and we've seen that before in history. Literally, you guys are not going to make it. Probably not. 5G. I don't think 5G is a troll. Like, not at all. What is ShamWow? ShamWow was like the ultimate drying towel, if I'm not mistaken. It picked up like every moisture that you could think of. Like, it was like one of the best like towel drying kind of things, if I'm not mistaken. They also had, it was like a mop too. They had like a mop form and they had like a towel form. It was called ShamWow. But yeah, no one knew what ShamWow was, huh? Or am I dating myself? Yeah, synthetic, yeah, dry towel for your car, right? But they also had a mop version that came out later. So yeah, it was like one of the best towels on the market. Yeah, I tell you, it sucked up everything, man. It was like one of the best. Foreign or domestic enemies. Again, military's not the answer. Listen, if you side with that, then you might as well fucking just move over to Russia or some shit, or some fucking totalitarian or what you call a country like China, if you believe in that. Badass said it sucked. It didn't pick up anything. No kidding. I never used it. I just saw the commercials and I went off of that. All right, my bad. But Shamwal. Yeah, the spiky haired dude. Didn't he like go to jail or die or some shit like that? It was one of the other things. That Shamwar guy was on. Yeah, he popped up out of nowhere. Nowhere, that guy. But anyway, that's off topic. The Shamwar guy, and I forgot what his name was too, because we looked up his name because we couldn't remember his name either. We kept saying Shamwar guy. I wish I could go to Russia. Well, listen, you can go to Russia. There's no wishing. You can do it. You can get on a plane. There's nothing stopping you from going to Russia. But then you're not a constitutionalist, and that makes you not American. Anybody who agrees with what's going on, that's an un-American, not American, very anti-American thought process and movement, allowing the National Guards to run the streets. Simple as that. Yeah, okay, issue with women. I think he beat up a hooker or some shit like that. It was something weird. It was like, when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I guess that tracks. That makes sense. Anyway, guys, when I titled the video tonight, he beat up a hooker. Oh, okay. Roaming Davis, we're talking about the alarming number of people passing away. In fact, there was a Japanese study that coincides with everything every last one of us said over the last 4 or 5 years. The exact shit. And it wasn't like I thought of this shit. People whose wheelhouse this was, people who looked at arm tickets and go, yeah, that's not good. They said that this was coming. And then when people were taking the initial first round that was given to everybody in 2021, right? Or 2020, 2021, when people were given that first round of that shit, was it 2021? Right, because all of 2022, and then I came back 2023. Yeah, so 2021, right? They were handing that shit out, and she bit his lip and wouldn't let go. Anyway, I don't want to read that. Sorry. So, basically, guys, we're just going to start seeing more people bite the bullet. And we're seeing a steady climb in that. And as far as what we're going to do and what that's going to look like, they're going to continue to start pushing other causes of these people passing away. They're pushing other causes of what's causing it, like cancers, rare ailments that are popping up. They're trying to shift blame. And the new one now was the air. There was a actress that just passed away. I think she had lung cancer. She never smoked. She worked out. The doctors stated that it was the air, the dirty air, that gave her the lung problem. Dropping dead in pairs. Northern Girl Hobbies, yeah. I mean, it's extremely high, the amount of people that are passing away. And the Japanese study backs all of that up. The Japanese study concurs what we've all theorized, thought, heard other people say, doctors mainly, that this wasn't going to fare well. You had one doctor who outright stated that this was going to, in the beginning, a doctor outright stated that he saw something bad in this and that this wasn't going to work out for people. And he said that about 3 years ago. 42-year-old news anchor had a heart attack and died suddenly today. No shit. Comet Moon, which theory? The sun caused. Yeah, and then listen, Betty Belcher, they're starting to blame the sun for the increase in skin, Mr. C's, right? And I'm like, wait, what? So, again, now all of a sudden the air is bad. Now all of a sudden the food is bad. Now all of a sudden the water's bad. They're blaming everything. Everything. I mean, like, it doesn't... The comment... Oh, the Japanese one. Okay. Yeah, but it still points out... I pulled it up. Wait, did I pull it up? Yes. Now, the number I thought was a little low, but The study linked to the Mr. 19 arm ticket to 2,000 excess deaths in Japan. And Dr. John Campbell was talking about this as well. So a lot of you know who he is. He has his own YouTube channel. They're probably going to definitely blame chemtrails. So chemtrails have been around for a while. Here's the problem, guys. Chemtrails have been around for probably better, 20, 30 years now, maybe longer. We've had bad air for as long as I can remember, and I'm 48. We had food in the 90s starting to make a turn for bad shit. Then we had water. Water's always been bad. I mean, it depends on where you live. It's gonna be cleaner than not. But now all these things have been going on for a few decades. They're not new. They're not a new occurrence. These have been going on for a while. The new occurrence was the introduction of an arm ticket 4 years ago. That was the new introduction. That was the new thing added to our lives. And undoubtedly, look what happened. Now we're starting to see kids develop these certain ailments, or the big C, right? Or Mr. C. And kids, guys, are developing this. And doctors are baffled as to why. Now, some doctors know why and don't want to say anything, and other doctors know why and are trying to misdirect everybody's, not attention, but they're trying to misdirect everybody's, I guess so, attention to something else. Oh, it's the Takis or the Tashis or whatever that shitty chips those kids are eating. Oh, it's the energy drinks that they're drinking. Oh, it's all of the cell phone time that they have. Though there's been a bunch of studies coming out about kids under the age of 13 and cell phone use, and that's on a psychological level, not so much a health level. There is a health implication with that as well, with the Bluetooth and the cell phone signal. That's another study, but they're talking about mental health studies on kids owning phones before the age of 13. And I thought that was interesting. I said my youngest son's never getting a phone. Probably not till he's 14, 15 years old. But his mother's been trying to push for it, but now she's sort of laid off after reading a lot of this shit. So, again, I was never a fan of the phone. My kids didn't get their phones till they were a little older, around the same age. I would say around 14, 15 years old. So that's my threshold for him getting a phone. But blaming everything else under the sun and then missing or glossing over what's really causing it, people believe it. Yes, Betty, Dr. Campbell did take it, and he said he regretted it. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of doctors, a lot of people I know who took it, and they go, I wish I would have never taken it. I wish I would have made a stand. Oh, Raccoon Eyes, man, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. Appreciate it. Oh, the Mega Millions? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I listen, I don't necessarily do it. I will put my money towards it. If people are like doing a collection at work or some shit, I'll throw money in it, but I don't pay attention to it. I don't care. That is not how I'm going to make my millions. That's not how I'm going to make income. I'm not going to rely on lottery. That's for the lucky, the insanely lucky. I am never that lucky. All right. So let's get this article out of the way real quick. So this is a comprehensive new study by leading Japanese scientists has sparked heated debate after uncovering a troubling association between the intensive Mr. 19 arm ticket campaign and unusually high excess mortality rates in Japan. Now, this is referring to Japan only, not the rest of the world, but we are seeing the same patterns around the world. The finding published in the respected JMA, no, I was going to say Junior Man Alliance, forget it. Respected JMA journalists suggest that the country's unprecedented arm ticket rollout may have coincided with one of the sharpest rise in unexplained people passing away in decades. The numbers behind the alarming trend. Japan, which administered a high number of arm ticket doses per capita in the world, averaging 3.6 doses per person. Holy shit. Reported that more than 210,000 people passing away above expected levels during the year of 2022 and 2023. The study, which relies excessively on official government data, shows a dramatic turnaround in mortality trend. In 2020, excess mortality was negative 1.67%, meaning fewer deaths than projected. By 2022, it spiked to 7.5%, and by 2023, it came down. Oh, it remained alarmingly high, sorry, at 5.76%. What makes the number especially concerning, according to researchers, is that around 10% of the excess people passing away could be explained by the Mr. 19 infection. Yeah. The sharp increase occurs immediately after the period of the most intensive arm ticket and observed across all age groups, excuse me. Now they say who's behind the study. Professor Tasaki Miwaza of the Institute of Animal, Human, and Coexistence Research in Kyoto, whatever. Somebody's gonna fucking correct me anyway. So, and there's a number of compensation claims, about 8,000 approved compensation claims of health damages compensation linked to the Mr. 19 arm ticket, including 903 people that passed away. So, about 9,000 claims were approved. And this was supported, the finding figure from the Japanese official arm ticket injury compensation program. We don't have that here, but they do in Japan. Interesting. Interesting that they have an official arm ticket injury compensation program. They were talking about starting that here, or at least a politician or two were throwing that around. But yeah, we don't have that here. I don't even know what other countries have that. Anyway. So let's see, immune system alter. Okay, so beyond acute side effects, Japanese research teams also point to concerning immunological changes in individuals receiving multiple doses. They observed that after the third dose, levels of specific antibody subtypes IgG4 surged dramatically from 0.04% to 19.27%. The IgG4 antibodies are known to have immune suppressive properties. While this mechanism can sometimes protect the body from overreacting, in this context, it could instead lead to immune tolerance against the virus itself, reducing the effectiveness of the body's own natural defenses. Interesting. Now, they are also acknowledging other explanations. Despite the strong data, the Japanese researchers are cautious to note that the arm ticket may not be the sole factor. They highlight that excess mortality is a complex phenomenon and that alternative explanation must also be considered. That makes sense. Long-term complications from Mr. 19 itself, overloaded healthcare system, particularly during the pandemic surge, delayed medical care and diagnosis due to lockdown restrictions, and mental health strain, stress, and isolation that indirectly worsen physical health. Now, comment Moon, if that's what you're talking about, yeah. That might sound like bullshit right there. For example, the British Heart Foundation recently reported nearly 100,000 excess people passing away from cardiovascular disease in England since 2022. Many of them attribute to disruption in healthcare during the bullshit. Bullshit. I'm not buying that. 100,000 people passed away because of the disruption in the healthcare services during the pandemic? Yeah, not likely. That sounds like bullshit. Again, I told you guys before, there were a lot of different dips in deaths, and there were also a lot of rises as well. That alludes to the fact that the healthcare system is offing people because they are misdiagnosing or giving people the wrong drugs, so their body's responding poorly to it. Now, I'm going to put this article in the chat, sorry, so you guys can read it for yourself. There's a little more, I jumped around a little bit, so you guys can look at that. And then I wanted to put this one in. This is the finding by the public medical center or med central, excuse me. Significant increase to access people passing away after repeated Mr. 19 arm ticket in Japan. This is a more of a concrete finding, if you will, by the PMC. I'm putting that in the chat as well. Listen, I hope you guys read some of these links I put in here. I mean, if you don't, fine, but it would be great for guys to read this stuff and pass it along, because a lot of this stuff, guys, is yeah, a lot of this stuff is relevant to what we are seeing, and it's not going to ease down. You still have commercials pushing new versions of these arm tickets and telling people, go to your local such and such to get it. You know, they are making it, I wouldn't say they're making it harder, but they lifted the qualifications to get it. So healthy individuals are no longer going to get it, or should get it, excuse me. Older people, and they still saying, no, not even babies. They're not even giving it to them anymore. They changed that around too. But yeah, if this is not for the doggies. That's an interesting theory. Rhonda, email me at Yahoo. And for the doggies, that is an interesting theory. I mean, I think that they're definitely succeeding. The amount of people that are passing away, again, we're not talking about it here in the United States. Japan is, and even then, it might not be out to the masses in Japan, right? These are things you have to actively look for or research. And so I don't think like they're reporting it, but the masses are not looking at it in that manner like we are, right? Only a few of us, no, Northern Girl Hobbies. I use Angryprepper at Yahoo now. I don't use the Gmail. I use the Gmail one for other things, but I don't use it for people sending it to me. Send it to me at Yahoo. Because there have been a lot of scams, and a couple of YouTubers, Pinball's one of them, and Autumn Backyard's Garden, both had their YouTube hacked because they used their Gmail account, which was linked to their YouTube. So I use Yahoo now, and I don't answer anything. Obviously, if it's from somebody I know, yeah, I'll answer it on their Gmail. But outside of that, yeah. Northern Girl Hobbies, you can email me at Gmail. That's fine. I mean, I guess Rhonda can too. I mean, I've known her on here for some time, so yeah. But when it comes to companies, I have them use Yahoo, because I'm not getting my shit hacked into just because some assholes like wants to feel accomplished. I'm like, I got to hack into YouTube. Well, thank you. All right. So, guys, now, when I told you what they wanted us to forget about, no, sorry, before I go down that path. So, again, we're watching people pass away, right? We did the whole Japanese study. But now we're watching an increase in the big C, or Mr. C, right? Cancers. Watching a huge increase in that. I mean, Paulie Shore, just the other day. I mean, I know a lot of you don't know who he is, and some of you might know who he is. But he just had a tumor found in his body the other day. We had a TikToker who just died from stage 4. She was chronicling her journey with her recent diagnosis of stage 4 Mr. C. And with that, she just passed away a couple days ago. Right? And so, yeah, a lot of people, guys, are not faring well. They're just not. Silver Sage, no, sorry for your loss of your brother. Yeah, cremation places have been backed up a lot lately. I mean, not that it's odd, but it's, I think it's odd, actually, sorry. But yeah, so we're watching a lot of people, and every day, guys, it's a new somebody being diagnosed. And again, There are probably tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people around the world being diagnosed with stage 4 on a daily basis. Daily basis. And again, here in the United States, we don't talk about it. And if we do, it's only amongst a circle of people. They'll publish some article online, and the masses will not even know about it. People are waking up, though. That is a good thing, I guess. People are absolutely going. People are absolutely going. Oh, you know what? I noticed that this changed to me, or that changed to me. I just developed this all of a sudden after taking that. Again, a guy that in the fire department with, I haven't seen him in a few years. He stated that his wife had some rare heart disease, right? And she had to get a stent in her heart, and it was the veins that were behind the heart. And that, from what I remember from my EMT days, is a rare condition to have. And she got it, and she had to get two. And I go, two? They go, yeah. I go, you know how rare that is? Just one back there, two? He goes, yeah. He goes, I think it was the arm ticket. And I go, I don't think it was. I know it was. That's why my follow up question to him was, did she get the arm ticket? He goes, yeah, I think it was that too. He didn't even miss a beat. He was like, so we're noticing more people wake up to the fact that it was it. And the problem is there are people who are scared to admit that, yo, I fucked up. But I don't think it was that. People are sitting there. People are sitting there scared to admit that what they took could possibly end it. And there's some people who took like multiple shots because they work in hospitals, and hospitals are telling them, listen, if you want to work here, you got to keep updating your Mr. 19 arm ticket. Hell, I'm waiting for a buddy, not a buddy, but a chick I know to fucking just completely bite the bullet because she keeps getting updates because the job keeps telling her to take it. I'm like, yo, one day I'm going to sit there and, notice that you passed away from this shit. Because you're an idiot. She's like, I need my job. I'm like, there's a million things you can do. You don't need your job that bad. Granted, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. She doesn't have any kids and she doesn't have any parents. And she's like, only child. So, well, not only, she has a brother. But, I hate reading this chat sometimes. Oh, Trapper Bob. Trapper Bob made a comment. Somebody wants him to clarify. Prepper Revelator. Yeah, listen, a lot of people were, man. And that's the thing. So, anytime I like to hear these stories, if you put them in the comment section, I might not read all of them, but I am reading a lot of them. And a lot of these stories are spot on. And everybody's coming to the same conclusion, Do I know the percentage of Americans that took it? No, but the percentage of the world that took it was 70 to 80%. 70 to 80. I thought I read somewhere, I think in the United States, I think it was like 40%, upwards of 50. It was like in there, Greg. It was either 40 to 50% or 48% to 50% of Americans took the arm ticket. The world was 70 to 80%. Because some places I read was 72%, and one website or two websites that I read was 80%. So I don't know. And then another website says 78%. So anywhere between 70 and 80% of the world population took the arm ticket. In the United States, I want to say 48 to 50% took the arm ticket. Trevor, yeah, that's right, exactly. So like I said, I read two different numbers. Like 3 to 4 different numbers on different websites. I heard 70, 78, 80%. So it's around that area. Whatever it is, it's too fucking high. 90% of North America? No shit. That's including, North America, both the United States and Canada. Still, too high. I didn't think it was going to be that high. When people like, how many people, what's the percentage of Americans? I was thinking, in my naiveness, was like 20, 30%. Nope. I was fucking completely wrong. I was shocked, actually. I was really shocked. I was like, really? That many people ran out there and got it? Holy shit. So, yeah. It is someone. I was talking to my buddy, man. I'm going to the Yellowstone, like so. I'm going to Colorado Springs and Yellowstone, and he was telling me that it's oddly cooler than normal up in that region. And Laura just said she has a fireplace on tonight, and it is a bit cool tonight. I can feel the cold air coming in through the window. That just means it's going to be a great night's sleep tonight. Because I'm going to have the AC on, and I'm going to fucking go into my cold coma and not wake up till it's time to go to work. It's 68 degrees right now. The low tonight is 56. Nice. I love cold nights, man. I really do. I like shivering myself to sleep. But anyway, so guys, with all of that being said, yes, more people are definitely going to bite the bullet. It is what it is. But what are we going to do with this? How are we going to prepare for that? And because it's happening so slow, I think a lot of us are unaware of what that's going to look like if, I mean, listen, let's just say 48% took it. Let's go on the lower end. 48% of Americans took this thing. What is that going to look like out of the 48%? How many of those people are going to pass away? Right? And what is that going to look like? Again, we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see a lot of people that are sick. We're going to see a lot of Hollywood definitely get sick, pass away. I think a lot of this in the human body is a ticking time bomb. It's just a matter of time. I think a lot of people as well, or a few people, are not going to be affected by this at all. Like, not even a little bit. And so, as preppers, the only thing we can do is keep doing what we're doing. That's the only thing we can do. Continue to prep, continue to build your canned goods, put as much as you can away. The more people that pass away from this shit, the less people we have to contend with when this shit is on. Then, again, now we have this new flesh-eating bacteria or maggots, whatever it is, floating around now. The first one was seen here in the United States the other day. I'm like, great, man. You know, we got that going on. So we got a lot of different things hitting us at one time. You know? Tracy, I heard about the dispersal of different mRNA arm tickets. Different ones. And he wants to disperse them that way. Grok is a liar. Went to Homestead. I think Grok is not on the level. A lot of, because they're videos we see, and then Grok's like, yeah, it was a hoax. Meanwhile, it wasn't a hoax. And then there are other videos that were hoax. So who knows? Wikipedia says 79%. All right, of the world or the United States? Because I don't think it was the United States. Grok is a lie because Grok is a demon. Fair enough. So many first responders took it. Deputy dog. Yeah, man. Yep. Listen, I remind guys all the time when the conversation comes up and they're like, you know, they break my balls for leaving for a year and 10 months. They're like, well, you took up. I'm like, yeah, I took up because I had a pair of balls and didn't want to fucking take the on ticket. That's why. I said, I didn't want to put something that we did not need. We didn't need it. And I remember getting in arguments about this, and guys like, we need this on ticket. It's going to stop it. And now those same guys that were yelling at me about how much we needed it, they were only one guy apologized. He's like, listen, I apologize for that. You know, it was just chaos. We were being told. I was scared. I'm like, I said, I get it, man. It's still a vagina, but I get it. You know. Never buckle to bullshit. That's the bottom line, man. Never buckle to bullshit. Whatever that bullshit is. Whatever we're being fucking told. Listen, man. I piss enough people off on this channel, and I will do it every fucking chance I get when I think I'm right. Right? And I normally try to stand in the middle with shit. But when it came to this arm ticket, I wasn't feeling it. When I'm looking at what Trump's doing with the National Guards, I am not fucking feeling it. I do not like where this is going. There are a lot of things, guys, if I have a bad feeling or I don't like where it's going, I am 90% of the times I'm right. 95% of the times I'm right. I haven't been wrong in the direction shit has gone. Have things unfolded immediately and revealed itself to us immediately? No. You got to think in like chess. You got to look down the line. You got to play the game that these people are playing. They're playing the long fucking chess game, the longest chess game in the world. NIH says 49% of Americans are fully arm ticketed. Wow. I thought it was 48% of people just taking one. No kidding. Yeah, the screw worms. Exactly. That fucking shit show. And again, I'm not worried about any of this shit because I'm going to protect myself where I can. I'm going to stand my ground where I can. And if I don't like the way things are going, I'm going to fucking just say no. Simple, man. Just say no. It is not, and again, for those of us guys who stand our ground, for those of us who are going to say no to a lot of this shit, we don't have much to worry about. The only thing we have to worry about is making sure that our security is squared away with whatever you're going to use to protect yourself, how much canned goods, how much food you can procure. If you got a garden going, if you got a homestead, you got animals in play, you got to make sure all that's squared away. And a lot of you already have that squared away. And should shit fall apart, you'll be ready to rock and roll, man. Ready to rock and roll. That's all we can do, is be ready for this collapse. If it happens in our lifetime. Listen, this collapse might not happen in our lifetime. We have to agree, guys, that everything that we are, everything that we think is going to happen might not happen in the time frame that we think it might happen. I mean, that's the bottom line. A lot of these things that, like the 23rd of September, I'm hearing this shit. I'm like, I'm not worried about that nonsense. Really not. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. 70%. Oh, okay. That's what it was. All right. So 81% of the world took at least one arm ticket. Overall, 70% is fully arm ticketed. Again, that's for them to worry about. I ain't worried about any of that shit. I'm not worried about the screw worm. I'm not worried about the crusted over zombie spiders or the Franken rabbits. I'm not worried about any of that shit. I don't care about the Epstein files anymore because you know what? We're worrying about something that's never going to come out. That is a gateway, guys, into freeing a lot of kids. But apparently, nobody wants to fucking touch that file. Trump lied to us about releasing it, and they're putting in all of these court movements, if you will, or making these court movements, and none of it's going to come to fucking fruition. It's bullshit. We're being lied to all the way around. The only thing we need to be focused on is getting the right side of the human race through whatever's going to happen. That's it. That's all we can do. We can't do anything else. Screaming and yelling about this bullshit. Yes. Am I going to talk about a lot of this stuff? Absolutely. Am I going to fucking report a lot of this? Yes. But am I worried about any of this shit? No. The only thing I'm worried about is AI taking over a lot of the jobs. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Because that's going to look like a shithole, and that's going to lead to the slow apocalyptic, whatever that's going to look like, the job society. What is graphics talking about? Yeah, standing up together graphics on certain things, absolutely. And that's banding together. The fight what comes at us. But unless, guys, we're not going to... Listen, if we're not going to take up arms and storm the White House and do what needs to be done to get these Epstein files to the public, to find these kids, we're not going to do any of that, then it doesn't matter. Right? I mean, listen, calling to storm Washington is what's needed. To free these files, to free these kids is what's needed. The Biden administration, the Obama administration, the Trump administration, going all the way back to God knows what administration, knows where all of these child trafficking gangs are, or organizations, sorry. They know where they all are. Every last one of them. But because the CIA makes so many fucking deals with these people, they're allowed to move these kids and women where they want. That is why nothing's being done. Because to get American safety, to get certain players on the board, certain groups or certain organizations or certain people snitch out certain terrorist organizations in trade for moving people in the sex trafficking world. That is how it works. It is such on a big, grand scale. A lot of people won't be able to wrap their heads around it. A lot of people are going to sit there and, scream and yell about this shit, but this is why nothing's being done. Because so many backdoor deals are being made. Period. And yes, Straggler, Texas. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything about it because no one else is going to do anything about it. You think I'm going to stand on the front White House, armed to the teeth, and then doing what? Sitting there waiting for something, hoping someone's going to help me out? There's a lot that can be done on a lower level, absolutely. Chris Hines, you're probably right. I think, what's his name's talking to me? Straggler TX is probably talking to me. And Straggler TX doesn't know what he's talking about, so he could talk all the shit he wants. I don't care. It's always the keyboard warriors that talk that shit. He's probably angry, He's probably having a bad day. His wife cheated on him. Walked in on her. She's getting smacked in the face by 8 black dicks. And he's like, fuck these people. And then he's on here talking shit. That's normally how it goes. When guys are pissy for no reason. Found out his wife was cheating with him on like 12 black dudes. 16 guys banging her 8 different ways. Probably what it is. Anyway, not the point. The point, guys, is that these people know who everybody is. They know who all the players are. They also know that a lot of these players are tied to other politicians and other elite members in society. Right? That's normally how it goes. And so, of course, they're not going to get in the way of that shit. He said, you childish. He wished on. Anyway, but what you call it, Straggler, you're watching, so I appreciate it. You're the best. Trolls are the best. You know why? Because they add to the views, and they don't even realize. And in the comments they make, they help with the algorithm. They don't even realize. So you can hate all you want. Thank you for getting me paid. But listen, it's okay, man. It's all right. Your wife will come back to you stretched out and all, but it's okay. You'll get past this. But anyway, that being said, guys, nobody wants to do anything about the trafficking shit. And nobody wants to do anything about it. There's so many things that can be done. Anytime a politician or the FBI director goes, once they're in the field, they're gone, they're this, they're that. You're full of shit, dude. You're full of shit. A guy could disappear off grid and you can fucking find him. You can find out where. And the crazy shit about all of this shit, guys, is that the trafficking world has so many moving parts, so many people in play. There's so much communications of this that is not invisible. A lot of it's probably right in front of us. We might not even be able to recognize it. So all that being said, guys, is that how the fuck do we not stop this from happening? Because they do not want it to stop from happening. That's the bottom line. It makes the money, if I'm not mistaken, it's $1 billion industry, or will be $1 billion industry. With the Wi-Fi had 3. All right, whatever. Epstein files, I'll wait. Why you ignored Epstein files? Straggler, Texas. Why am I... Rhonda, thank you for the heads up. How am I ignoring the Epstein files? All I'm saying is that that's not going to come out because they don't want that to be... That is a segue into the sex trafficking world. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if you're understanding that. And I'm not... And I would love for it to come out. But I'm not going to sit here waiting on bated breath hoping that it does, because it's not. That right there, guys, the whole Epstein thing is going to find thousands of kids. That's going to lead into a world that's going to fucking implode and implement so many people. We're talking about thousands, if not tens of thousands, of politicians and elite member of society. That is why they do not want that to get out there. Because if that gets out there, that's going to probably collapse the political system on itself. There would be fucking civil war in a lot of countries because people would arm to the teeth and go after these people. That is why nothing's being done. And I can speak about this too. I'm blue in my face, and I will continue to speak about this to hopefully one day maybe get people to get right, get armed, and make moves. We're fucking sitting there, guys. We made a move on a bullshit election scandal with Trump. People showed up at D.C. and did what they did. Why couldn't we do what happened on J6 for a real fucking cause? And instead of going half-ass, going all the fucked away. We could have did that for those kids. But we're not. That's my and again, Trump was like, they stole the election and people show up to DC. We're gonna do some shit. Why couldn't we do some shit for the kids that are missing? People rant, rave, and cried about the Cracker Barrel sign. People are ranting and raving about that bitch's name, the skinny white bitch, Taylor Swift getting married. People are ranting and raving about that, but no one's ranting and raving about fucking finding these kids. And the way we find the kids is the Epstein files. That's how we find the kids. That is what I'm saying. The elite fear. That's what the elites, and the elites fear because, again, I think some of the elites are like, mixed in with society. I don't think they're all on the upper level. Again, that's a theory of mine. How do the powerful hide? They hide amongst the normies, us. That's what they could do. I don't know. I could be wrong. But and again, if that was to happen, if the Epstein file was to be leaked online, which again, those people who leak files online, I sense bullshit with them. How come they're not going after that? How come that file hasn't been leaked online? How come all the other files in the world have been leaked except for those? These guys are actively, continuously hacking into shit, but that's where they stop to hack? They stop to hack at that? Taylor Swift, Tyler Swift, whoever it is, dude. It's all bullshit. But yeah, listen, man. I say this all the time. That is one thing that's never ever going to come out, because God, man, if they release that list, so many kids would be found. So many people would be hanging from bridges. That's all I'm gonna say. That wouldn't look that would be bad. There would be a lot of, like, not bad. That would sort of be good, but then, you know what I mean. There would be a chaos would ensue. Chaos would fucking break. It would break society if that list came out. The amount of people that would suffer from this would be almost glorious. Almost. No kidding. George, thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Other than that, I'm going to head over to the Angry Truth channel. Straggler, you can definitely, follow me over there. But I appreciate your ball breaking. Anyway, yes, I'm going to go over to the Angry Truth channel. We're going to talk about something I talked about yesterday in the midweek report, but I'm going to do a more focused version on this because, this is coming to America. This problem is coming to the United States, without a doubt. And this is going to be bad. And when this hits, this is going to be fast, swift, and it's going to leave a lot of people without work. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it as always. I will have a double header, I think, next Tuesday, if not Monday. I'll keep you guys posted. But I definitely will see some of you guys over on the Angry Truth channel. Good night. Have a good weekend. And I appreciate you guys watching me. Thank you.